Welcome to the Oxen Group Nightly. My name is David Ristow. I'm the CEO, President, and Founder of the Oxen Group. Please check us out at www.theoxengroup.com for all of your financial analysis and investment ideas needs. Well, today was another pretty interesting day in the market. Today we'll be talking about our Wednesday market wrap-up. We'll be looking at some new positions we got into today in SunPower and Apple. We'll be talking about some current positions and exits that we also have. We'll be looking at a long-term update we have on Frontier Communications and Trina Solar. And then we'll also be looking at tomorrow's forecast. So the market today was all over the place, up and down, and couldn't really find a direction, and that seems pretty likely for today. There was really kind of a lack of pertinent news out there today. Early on, we got some rise after a wholesale inventories report. It's pretty much the only economic data besides the crude report on the day, and that came out slightly better than expected. That helped the market rally early, but then as that rallied, oil rallied, and it tried to rally with it, but then gave up gains as inventories from crude oil showed that undersupply is not an issue. We actually had 2.5 million barrels added to inventory last week, and so we continue to see additions to inventory every single week. People want to take advantage. Obviously, you see higher prices in oil, you're going to see supply actually increase, not decrease. It's the craziest thing that people think because we have a supply issue that the prices are high, but actually as the price rises for oil, it's more likely that supply will increase, not decrease. And hopefully that will start to play out. So here's what we see right now. Oil is definitely losing ground. We see that it hit a rally, hit that peak at 107, and then has slowly gotten into this kind of downward channel. It's slowly going. Didn't make a new bottom below 104, which was kind of disappointing to see today. But the oil market did lose its ground and did end up down in after hours, or excuse me, at the close of the NYMEX today. And I think that we should see an interesting day tomorrow. Tomorrow we kind of have that impact from the Day of Rage that's supposed to be happening in Saudi Arabia. That's on Friday, and that could possibly cause some of this another tick up in oil. But at the same time, we see these inventories rising. We've seen the Libya crisis start to sort of de-escalate, and not completely, but obviously there's still a lot of violence going on there. But that price action that we saw because of the Libya crisis has really been priced in now, and so unless something drastically changes there, that sort of has lost its sort of impact on the oil market. And I think as less protests and less things happen in Bahrain and Oman and Saudi Arabia, it's going to continue to decline, and which will be good for equities. So as we see today, the market wavered all over the place. This is not an attractive chart by any means. Volatility really just was all over the market today. The market went higher, then sold off. We bought those dips back up, sold off, back up, sold off, back up, sold off. It was just continually the whole day. And I really just think the market's really kind of just searching for direction right now. And that's really what we got today. Some of the stocks that were a little undervalued, that had some good fundamentals, were able to make some gains today. Those stocks that were weak and didn't have the good fundamentals, you see a lot of materials who have had prices and their specific materials dropping. You see that those were declining on the day. So it was very much, kind of a show me what you got sort of day. Good fundamentals were rewarded. Okay, the first position that we recommended today was in SunPower, and we entered our recommendation at 15.90. We were looking for the stock to gain 2 to 3% after some good news came out today that SunPower has struck a nice deal with Toshiba to supply them with 50 megawatts of panels for a project that they're doing in Japan. And the reason we really liked it was because we thought that this was going to be a nice fundamental piece of news that could act as a catalyst to bring the stock off lows that it's had. And we're not completely giving up on our idea that can happen still, despite that the price action was not that great on the stock today, and it actually declined throughout the day after opening higher. But what I do like, and what I am seeing is that basically at this point, this stock has lost everything it gained before earnings. You see that this gain right here was the start of basically the earnings seasons for solar, and right here, and it broke out here and moved higher. And at this point, this stock has basically neutralized and taken away all those gains. And so you see that the stock has, for the last 2 days, gotten support at that level, and this is a very key level. And you can see it here on stochastics too. So if the stock is able to break this level, this is going to be a pretty much decline all the way down to 15 very quickly. But it's very unlikely that it will break that level, given that it has support on the stochastics and given that it has some good fundamentals. And what we've seen in the past is when this stock really starts to break out, is that it gets a follow-through days. The first day it tends to start out with a little bit of a weaker day and then break out higher. You see that happened here. We see that happens here. And then we also saw that happened here. And so what we're seeing today on that news is not terribly disappointing for us. We did think that because of the news with the Toshiba action and the undervaluation the stock has, that we would have gotten a little bit more support. But basically the volume was very light today. And that actually also is not a bad thing for this stock. Again, when we saw these breakouts here, we saw light volume and then a nice breakout. Here, light volume and a breakout. And then here, light volume and a breakout. So that actually is not a bad thing for the stock. I think that people really aren't sure if it's going to go up or down, and it has good fundamentals. So if we can combine those good fundamentals with some kind of another catalyst tomorrow for the solar sector or the market, I think that we'll really see the stock break out. We are worried about this stock, but we do only have a 2% stop loss, so if it does break down tomorrow, then we're going to be pretty much out, probably close to the open. But I do think that this stock has a lot of potential moving forward. This is one of our long-term rating holdings. We've been in this stock for quite some time. We think it's a very good stock, and it's disappointing to see that the solar sector can't get somebody behind it, because these stocks are basically have given up everything they gained in the last quarterly earnings, and their quarterly earnings were tremendous. And it's very disappointing to see the financial world's pretty much basically saying we didn't get in on that rally. We're bringing these stocks back down, and then we're going to basically buy them back up when they're down. And that's our theory on this right now. But you do see the stochastics cross today, and should be heading up. As you see, every time they've bounced down here, they've bounced right back up. And really the fundamentals haven't changed, so it's kind of confusing to see why it's not just bouncing right back up. After that, we also entered a position into Apple today. Given that the stock had this 3% decline over the last 3 days, and that the stock was coming off a 20% rally, excuse me, sorry, not 20%, 8% rally, we really thought this stock was a good day to pick this stock up, because you've got the iPad 2 release on Friday, and that's going to draw a lot of attention to this stock and probably draw some, either an upgrade or at least some pretty good attention to the fact that this is going to be a very nice product for the company. We were able to get in below 352, so we're seeing a little bit of a gain right now. It's not a fast-moving stock, and we're not expecting more than probably like a 1 to 2% gain on it. But we do think that this is a nice little holding, very, very unrisky, and a nice holding, especially given this sort of jittery market we have right now. Other positions, we had a lot going on this morning, a lot of great gains today. It was a very good day for us. We exited another half of AnnTaylor this morning for a 3% gain, and we're holding 25% of our original position for even more. Actually, the stock was up over 4.5% at one point today. I think closed above 4% for us. Exited 30% of Smithfield Foods this morning for a 3.2% gain, and we're holding the 20% of our original position into earnings tomorrow morning, expecting pretty strong earnings from them, given what we've seen from other pork producers. And then we exited half of our Zumiez position for a 1% gain. I'm not really trying to push this one too much, since it's not a very good value investment. It's more of a growth stock. And we're hoping to hold most of that into earnings, as we're expecting very, very strong earnings from this company. And then we're entered a short sale in Endeavour Silver. This stock moved up 40% in 2 weeks, and about 20% came in the last 2 days after they announced that they're going to be switching from the American Stock Exchange to the New York Stock Exchange. And that's a big gain for them. It's great news for this company. It definitely legitimizes them a lot more. But however, the 40% movement and has shown has been a little too much too fast, and the stock also is probably getting a little bit of weakness, as silver has not shown as much strength in the last couple days. We were able to enter that at the 952, and I think we're already up on that about 1.5% at the close. Also, we had some updates on our long-term ratings area. Yesterday we exited Frontier Communications, and we exited Frontier after we got the dividend ex-dividend date hit yesterday. We were able to get the stock for the dividend and then get rid of it. It's not a company that we are very high on anymore. We like them a lot after their Verizon acquisition of landlines from Verizon, but they haven't shown that they can manage them very well. They've seen all their margins drop. They've seen costs rising, and it's not a very good time for Frontier. So we're going to stay away from that one. We were hit with a pretty big loss from them, about 17%, but we are going to battle that with a re-entry with a 2/3 position into Trina Solar. We took some of the funding from Frontier, added it to our Trina Solar position. Trina is a great company, one of the best solar companies out there. In my opinion, they'll be the leader in solar within the next year, and it's at a great support level right now. Showed strength today, and it should be continuing up after giving up quite some gains in this sort of solar retraction that we've seen. So for tomorrow, where will we go? It's a good question. There's a lot on the table tomorrow. You have jobs, we got oil, day of rage, as we talked about, and basically, people are, I think, kind of like at this point where we're either going to really have a nice rally here, or are we going to be moving down, or are we just going to be moving sideways for a while, and it's going to be kind of like a quick up and down, 2%, 3% here or there. We had good earnings from after us from Molycorp, which is a materials play, and that's really going to help, I think, with some of the struggling materials we've seen throughout the last week. And then we've got some other smaller names like Buckle, Del Monte, Smithfield Foods is tomorrow, which can help with some specific sectors. But I think the real key tomorrow is jobless claims. They're coming out tomorrow, and we basically have lost all this attention that we had last week after the Libya crisis on the fact that unemployment is at its lowest level in years, and jobless claims were down below to their lowest level in years. And I think that if jobless claims can at least be somewhat decent tomorrow, either hit expectations or beat them a little bit, I think it's going to help draw some big attention to the fact that, hey, wait a second, our market is actually not too bad right now. We've got more people in jobs than we have had in the last couple years, and things are heading in the right direction. And I think that could be a real nice catalyst after we've had such a jittery market, such a lack of direction over the last week and a half. Well, that's going to do it for today. Visit us at www.theoxengroup.com. Email us anytime. Call us at 1-800-709-1160. We hope you'll be a part of our 70% plus accuracy.